who is going to stop Erling Haaland? Erling Haaland no be able to say Manchester City Abrante by Obo, Van Dijk, Alcantara, Fabinho, Salah, Luis Diaz. All these guys are not glittering. The structure has broken and things are not well for Klopp in this particular game. Another big game, you can call it a Super Sunday in the Premier League. Two teams are very competitive in the last 5 seasons in the Premier League. One with 4, the other with 1. But so I heard Jurgen Klopp push Pep Guardiola to the last wire, and Pep can say one coach or man here best is Jurgen Klopp. Out of the 2 coaches, Pep Guardiola winning 8 games, Jurgen Klopp are winning 9 games, 5 a draw. Until these are the statistics between the 2 coaches. Unfortunately, in the league here, boy, obiara one adwin ba so da say baby here drink Arsenal be first on the league table. Na Manchester City adas here. Na Liverpool but more very consistent, almost stay competitive, almost the right materials and the experience to compete, you know, almost lagging behind at the 10th position. But in there, sana football nete. So I want to tell you year, baby I be doing crofobia, and that is the situation for 8 my friend in Liverpool, Abraham Mobo against Manchester City. Results on yet, and Enima Ben had Jurgen Klopp within the setup. A lot of people are raising concerns that the 7-year syndrome from Dortmund minds the BBC Liverpool now there's a repeat for Klopp. Some of us and so argue say the several individuals are no more important, no more decisive, no more form. Now Liverpool rely on them. Those players are not on form again. And it's a form team now. You talk about Alisson Becker, he's just on form. Virgil van Dijk need to matter per Gabriel Jesus any represent had the oma fashion and saying and Alexander Petrovic the oma fashion this particular season no actually how there was a hole within the Liverpool backline and when you chance show omo na Napoli ni bia obi nka nkyerɛw say omo ntimi anyina Abrante FN Raspadori any Abrante FN Michel Politano so into Liverpool defense no aye cause to worry and their defense has been in total disarray and only baby obi a lot of coaches na saying say Klopp there adwuma no easy so offer Trent Alexander on another chi now for Andy Robertson you are good to go and that was the perfect worker coach your friend Mikel Arteta de Gabriel Jesus and then Abrante friend Gabriel Martinelli so what you born na cotton Abrante na friend Arnold no him defend Frankie Lobert say he defends like a championship player into a very wicked defense but he's a channel of supply for Liverpool in attack. Arsenal here perfect and no very good results in that particular game for the first time in many years and Arsenal team didn't have results. Manchester City and Liverpool game here tricky games. A game I always expect a lot to be now ending in a draw. A game I always expect a lot to be now go snake flows. So it has been games that have been so tough for these 2 coaches. But so share Liverpool again within the club setup. Now say there Omo decided so much for their 4-3-3 because far results in maybe into then a club person in the Arsenal game occur for Adebia. Tactically it is called the magical square or between our friend the magical rectangle or in Brazil it is called the Brazilian box. So no more friend because Enona Mario Zagallo used in the 1970 DJ World Cup no. I'm talking about the 4-2-2-2. And only idea you see at the last game against Arsenal. But in the game of ball against Rangers, no, occur for the typical old-fashioned 4-4-2. The Ghana Titanaya number 7, number 11, Nana 10. Starting Darwin Nunes and Roberto Firmino in attack. And only idea occur. With the problem away Jordan Henderson, Thiago Alcantara, now in the Rangers game, or the son of the ball, Abrante friend Jordan Henderson, and then Abrante friend Fabinho, and that is exactly idea no be expected. Say Fabinho Badia, the pressure was central defense no because he comes in with protection, he comes in with a bodyguard, he moves the defense so well, and if you are talking about one of the top setting midfielders in the game, you are talking about Fabinho. It's pressure on the back film. Thiago Alcantara for control and for transition. Alcantara and so decided at least you are short. Luis Diaz back now. If he's coming back there, then that will be a plus for Liverpool. Diego Jota has been on and off. Roberto Firmino in the last 12 days has 5 goals. Mo Salah is struggling in the Premier League because out of the games, Omaboni now watch 2 goals per. Unlike the 5 goals I watch in the Champions League. Into Klopp individuals, no? Van Dijk, Alcantara, Fabinho, Salah, Luis Diaz, all these guys are not glittering. The reason why Liverpool air suffer. But Omo against Manchester City. Omo say game with Omo Lusua and yet so Omo game no bill because top 4 crab end in their momo. Into Klopp share how he set up and how he organized his team. The structure has broken and things are not well for Klopp in this particular game. Over Manchester City in Swan. City Omo in the moment you see Pep Guardiola, you talk about high-playing football, champagne football, the tiki-taka, the total football combined, the level of entertainment and the level of excitement within the setup. No, ubenya. Inti sa osha. Ellen Holland no be able to say Manchester City are branded by Obu, but we've forgotten about the performance of Manuel Akanji from Borussia Dortmund or the Beshe. You are forgetting about the inverted midfield play of Joao Cancelo in the last few games for 8 man. Your friend Manchester City, and how Nathan Ake has improved tremendously within the defensive setup. Bernardo Silva statistics in here, but so sure no na Kevin De Bruyne. Now about Bashar Brand your friend Rodri there. Next him 15 hard there. For control, for passing, for visionary and for transition, you can rely on any of these players. And so check out defense now. Manchester City defense is a bit inconsistent. Cancelo, Ake, Akanji, Ruben Diaz. Sometimes I want me cause several errors within the squad. You can always check the experience level and you can also. But who is going to stop Erling Haaland? Erling Haaland, any player, overcast the qualities in the door super be into who, but the timing, his positioning, and the technique to plant the ball at the back of the net. And only idea or they on board. Until who also did who also be Ginobiachi, Obona Brandt and draw, Nabona Quacotini out at them. And when you have 2 centre backs for Liverpool almost struggling and Yementim Koya, a chase of who were Jumaye if they want to stop that particular boy. And he is going to be the main threat. And Fabinho who were Jumaye to stop Kevin De Bruyne within the setup. Liverpool Manchester City games are games that looks a bit unpredictable on paper. But coaches Nejumo Mubo and Ediomo Yeno. Emma game ya na look a bit dicey in that particular game. This is the first time at Liverpool in Manchester City beba. Who said there's a huge gap, there's a huge difference in terms of form on both sides, and Manchester City is scoring for fans, scoring with rampant rapidity, hoping so mobility may change everything at their favor. Will Klopp have that quality? Will they have that usual Liverpool team or Manchester City in Anfield? Will Klopp accept? Say the team in so he will defend. Now what me hit on the break with Mo Salah and also Okaku Bib, no on the paper ball end to end, toe to toe. That is where Klopp will be in trouble. But our experience when it comes to the 2 affairs and when they can cast 9 wins, Pep will 8, so you give it to Klopp in this particular game. But this is a game that I think Manchester City, nothing stopped them from winning this particular game. It's a game for City. Liverpool will score because it will be difficult to stop the attack looking at the defense of Team IFN and Manchester City. Liverpool will score, Manchester City will score. But this is a game Manchester City will around 85% chances. So I'm moving to winning this particular game. And I think I'm going in for a Pep Guardiola win. And I hope that this time I'll bet tie with Klopp 9-9. Now a head-to-head net me. A win for Manchester City. And that is what I'll urge fans are. So I'm moving to